everyone, and welcome to Bracket 2 of the March Madness $20 to $30 Bourbon Bracket Championship. My name is Jason C., and if you're looking for the latest in whiskey and bourbon news and reviews, you have found the right channel, so hit that subscribe button below and hit that bell notification so you know when I'm putting out a new video. So I hope you guys enjoyed Bracket 1 because Bracket 2 is really strong. We have 4 amazing, great $20 to $30 bourbons in this bracket and some top seeds. So as a quick recap, what I did was I crowdsourced 16 $20 to $30 bourbons and ranked them from 1 to 16 based on my personal experience. And I randomly put them into 4 brackets. So what I'm doing is I'm blind tasting all 4 in each bracket. And I'm gonna pick the top 2 from each one of those brackets and see which bourbon moves on and comes out as champion at the end. So in bracket 1, we had Wild Turkey 101, Four Roses Small Batch, Evan Williams Single Barrel, and Maker's Mark head to head. After the blind tasting, Wild Turkey 101 and Four Roses Small Batch came out on top to move on to the next bracket. Now before we move on to our next matchup, let's take a look at the upcoming brackets. Alright guys, so now that you've got a closer look at the brackets, it's time for bracket 2, which packs a lot of heavy hitters. The 4 seed, which is Knob Creek Small Batch, created to represent whiskey before it was mass-produced, Knob Creek embodies the look, feel, and the taste of pre-prohibition bourbon. This is a long-aged, high-rye bourbon from Jim Beam coming in at 100 proof. Next up is a wheater, and it's the 3 seed, Larceny, from Heaven Hill. This is 6 years old and comes in at 92 proof. Next in the bracket, in the 9 seed, we have Jim Beam Distillers Cut. This limited edition offering from Jim Beam is aged for 5 to 6 years in new charred American oak, non-chill filtered, and comes in at 100 proof. Lastly is the 2 seed, Elijah Craig Small Batch, which is comprised of select whiskeys about 8 to 12 years of age. This non-age statement product was introduced in early 2016 to replace the 12-year age statement bottled at 94 proof. So just like last time, I have some stickers on the bottom of each glass indicating a specific letter for each glass. I have the key right here, which we'll find out on the end, which one comes out on top. I have the Wild Turkey 101 and the Four Roses Small Batch, the 2 winners from bracket 1. The 2 winners from this bracket will move on to face these 2 bottles as we get to the Elite 8. So before we get started, let's mix these up. So now that they're mixed up, what I'm going to do, I'm going to run through them, taste them all, nose them. Then again, we'll take a quick break. We'll go through them one more time in reverse order, see if anything changes. And then we'll pick out our top 2, and I'll try to guess what's in each glass, see if I'm close at all. So let's go into number 1 here, and let's see what we get. This is super sweet on the nose. This is a lot. This is a ton of buttered corn on here. There's a little bit of a cherry note on there too. Not too much oak. This is more on the sweet side. Very fruity though. I gotta say, it's pretty fruity on the nose. You're getting a little bit of some dark fruits in there, but that corn and caramel sweetness, it's like opening up a fresh bag of Cracker Jacks. Yeah, really nice and sweet on the nose. A little bit of oak, but there's a really nice fruity note to this. It's not, I wouldn't say it's that apricot type flavor I'm getting on it. This is a little darker. This is more kind of along the dark fruit category. Maybe more of a cherry or of, I don't know, maybe a dark berry of some sort. Really nice on the nose. This is, off the bat, this has a really great nose. So let's go into the taste and see what we get. Cheers. Oh, that's really good. That is mouth coating. Really nice proof. It's got a slight burn there, but mainly very sweet. That fruity note wasn't really translating to the palate on the first sip. We'll see what we get on the second one. Oh yeah. The proof is staying there. Oh, that's good. I mean, the corn, the caramel balance on that. That is just a extremely well balanced bourbon. You're getting a little bit more of that oak there on the back end. Yeah, and the proof on that keeps going and going. As I mentioned, Larceny comes in at 92 proof. This is 100 proof. This is Elijah Craig comes in at 94, and this is 100. So they're in kind of the same vicinity. They're all around that 100 proof or just a little bit lower. So to kind of get some distinction of the proof, it's going to be a little bit harder to pick out. But this one's definitely got a nice finish there. I'm going to go for one more sip here. That is just a beautiful, well-balanced, fruity, oaky, sweet, really great bourbon. Wow, if all of these are as well-balanced as that one, this is going to be real tough. So let me take my notes real quick. All right, let's take a quick sip of water here. All right, let's go to number 2 and see what we get. Let's see if it's any similarities or it's really different. Very curious. Here we go. Well, this is different. This is not as pungent on the nose. It's a little bit more faint on the nose. Definitely the prominent note on here is that corn sweetness. Definitely that corn sweetness. Get some vanilla in there. A little bit of oak, not a lot. It's very sweet. You get some of that fruity notes, but on this nose, you're getting a little bit more of a brighter note. You're getting a little bit more of the apricot note on there that I was getting, similar to the Four Roses, but definitely not nearly as strong. Yeah, this is just all corn caramel sweetness, really. A little bit of oak there, but it's just super sweet. Not as complex as the nose on A, but really nice in the nose, very sweet. So let's go in for a taste. Here we go. Cheers. Oh, that's very sweet. That's really light actually on the palate, but at the same time, it's really kind of mouth coating. It's really sticking well. There's that really nice corn sweetness that you're getting on the nose. It's really translating to the palate well. It's definitely more of that really nice corn sweetness. You get some caramel there. You get the finish on this one is not as long. I would say this could be a little bit of one of the lower proof ones. Let's go in for another quick sip here. Cheers. Definitely super sweet, really inviting. Corn, caramel, definitely a good amount of vanilla in there. The vanilla is actually kind of a darker vanilla, almost like a roasted vanilla that you get. The finish is not super long, especially when you compare it to number 1 here. This one had kind of a longer finish. But yeah, that's really good. Definitely a little bit more on the sweet side, not as much balance. There's a little bit of oak there, but this is just a really nice, sweet, pleasing, caramel-forward bourbon. Really good. All right, let's get another quick sip of water here. This is so much fun, guys. I really hope that if you're at home and you're thinking about doing some challenges like this, definitely do some blind challenges on your own. It really helps try to pick out different flavors and find out what you really like. So it's always so much fun doing these, especially when you're doing a 16 bourbon bracket shootout. So let's go into number 3 here and let's see what we get. Here we go. Wow, much more of a flavor punch on this one. This is more similar to number 1 here. Really nice sweet notes on there. You get those typical caramel, vanilla flavors, but there's a really nice kind of almost a honey roasted peanut flavor here on the nose. A little bit of dark fruits in there. Really nice. There's a little bit more of an alcohol punch on here. It's not as light as number 2 was. Probably closer to number 1. Yeah, the nose to number 1 is very similar. Actually, no, this one is more fruit forward. A little bit more fruit forward on this one. Yeah, this one is coming across as a little bit more of a nutty character to it. Maybe a little bit like a peanut butter type character to it. Really good on the nose. Slight fruit sweetness, but not as much as A. Another nice, well-rounded nose. A lot of sweetness, a lot of caramel, vanillas. There's a little bit more of an alcohol punch here too, which I could appreciate. Really good nose. Between A and or between 1 and 3, I don't know. Both of them have really good noses, but we'll see. All right, cheers. Here we go. Yeah, that one is just that honey roasted peanut character that I was getting on the nose is just really translating to the palate. It's got a decent proof there. Definitely leaving a little bit of a little bit of a burn here, especially more than number 2. Yeah, vanillas, caramels, definitely coming through with a slight fruit flavor there. A little bit of a berry or a cherry, I would say. But then that kind of roasted honey peanut character takes over. That one's really nice. Yeah, I'm gonna need another sip of this one because this one the balance. I'm trying to see where it's kind of gauging here. If it's leaning more towards nuttiness or fruit forward. It's kind of right on the bridge there. Let's see. Yeah, that one's good. As the flavors level out here, it's becoming a little bit more, the sweet flavors are becoming a little bit more subdued, and then you're getting more of there's some more oak in this one. Might be the oakiest one I've had out of the three so far, but there's some really nice sweet notes, some vanilla, some caramels that are balancing that oak out. But there's that really slight hint of nuttiness there too that I'm really enjoying. That's really good too. All right, last up, let's go with number 4. Here we go. On the nose. Ooh, this is the darkest nose that I've gotten out of all of them too. This is a lot of oak and fruit flavors on here. This is a really nice nose. Wow, right off the bat, dark brown sugars, caramel sweetness, like that roasted vanilla bean type flavor. When you open a fresh pack of fresh vanilla beans, really fresh on the nose there. Definitely a big hint of cherry. A little bit of a nutty character there. Yeah, not a huge punch of alcohol, but that one's really kind of staying true with that really nice caramel, vanilla, oak sweetness. There's a really nice oak punch on here, but it's a sweet oak that I really like. That's really good on the nose. There's also an underlying fruitiness there as well. There's a little bit of I had mentioned cherry, but it's kind of a dark cherry, maybe more of a Luxardo cherry, something like that. It's really nice. The nose on that one, that one's, I think that one might be the winner on the nose there. That's a really nice nose on that one. All right, let's go with the palate, see what we get. Cheers. Oh. Wow, that one changed a lot from the front of the palate. So front of the palate actually started off a little bit thinner than I would like. The flavor didn't really punch through, but then the finish on that one really came off really sweet, really oaky, but a really nice balance of sweet, oak, vanilla, caramels. A little bit of a creme brulee hint in there too. Number 4, man. That number 4 is bringing it. That one's good. That one has a lot of character to it. Let me go for another sip here. Here we go. Yeah, the sweet flavors, though, in the front of the palate have kind of mellowed out a little bit. But the finish on that one, it just keeps going and going and going. Got a nice proof point to it. Those cherries, the oak, that cherry, this is like cherry vanilla ice cream with a little bit of some oak character kind of mixed in. Really nice proof point. The finish is still going there. That's good. Let me go one more here. Yeah, it's so crazy. The front of the palate isn't as pleasing as the finish. So it's a slightly off balance for me, but the finish though on it is really good. But the vanilla, the cherry, you definitely get a little bit of that. Once it gets to about the mid palate, it really starts kicking in, but then you're really getting on the finish on that one. That's a really nice pour. All right, guys, so what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to come back. We're going to try them all again in reverse order and pick the top 2 to see who's moving on to take on the Four Roses Small Batch and the Wild Turkey 101. All right, guys, we are back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to taste these now in reverse order and try to get more of a sense of what I'm going to be picking here to go move on to the next round. I think I have one favorite immediate already, but the other 3 are just, I have no idea. They're all really good in their own unique way. So just really going to see how my palate reacts here and which one will come out on top. So let's go start off in reverse order, like I said, with number 4 here. So let's see what we get. All right, so number 4 has changed a little bit. The flavors have gotten a little bit flatter here, but still the finish on that one is really unique. The finish on that one keeps kind of going, leaving a nice spicy black pepper note right on the back of the palate there. It's very, you're getting a lot of vanilla, oak, caramels there. A little bit of a nice hint of cherry too, but you're getting more on the finish and kind of the mid palate. The front of the palate, when it hits, it kind of passes through very quickly. Let me go for another sip here. Yeah, it kind of passes through real quick. You don't get a lot of sweetness until it hits kind of mid palate and then the end. Not super creamy on the mouthfeel. I think the one thing that number 4 has going for it is the finish. The finish on that is really good. I just wish it had a little bit more of a sweetness balance on the front end. But, all right, we'll keep that one in the running for now. Let me take a quick sip of water. All right, let us go to number 3. Let's see what we get here. Cheers. This one's sweeter. It's got more of a... This one's got more of that peanutty flavor to it, which I really like. The oak flavor, vanilla caramels. You definitely get a little bit more of a rye kick on that one, I think. There's a little bit more of a citrus note that I'm getting now on it. This one is actually going and still going on the, on the flavor profile. That one's pretty good. Let's go for another quick sip. Yeah, that one's really coming through. Really nice balance. It's just that nothing is really standing out on number 3. It's good. It's a really good bourbon. It's sweet. It's got a really nice little kick of oak there. Caramels, vanillas, a little bit of a rye spice, some citrus in there. Yeah, but the proof on this one too, it's really kind of going along really nicely. That's going to be tough. It's almost kind of reverse. The reverse experience I'm getting on number 4 here. This one is kind of ending up with a quick front palate, but a nice long finish. This one I'm getting all the flavor right in the front of the palate, but the finish isn't really bringing it like it is on number 4. So both of them are kind of just missing something slightly, but still both very good. All right, let me take a quick sip of water. All right, let's go to number 2 and let's see what we get here. Cheers. Definitely not nearly as... I would say this one is kind of a really... I'm not sure. That one seems kind of the lowest proof to me. Not really bringing much of a finish there. Very, very sweet. Corn, caramel. Kind of that Cracker Jack type flavor I was talking about earlier. Let's go for another quick sip. Second sip was better. That second sip was... It's got like this buttered popcorn Cracker Jack thing going on, which is so good. The finish on is not very long at all. It's definitely leaving a little bit of a burn there on the back end. Yeah, it's picture buttered popcorn or Cracker Jacks with some black pepper on it. That's what this one is. You take that sip, you get that really nice burst of sweetness, but then it's leaving that little bit of black pepper just kind of on the back palate there. All right, back to number 1. Let's see what we get here. Cheers. Yeah, number 1 for me is bringing the most balance out of all of these. It's sweet. It's got a great finish. It's peppery. There's cherry, vanilla, caramel there. I really love the sweet oak note you get on this one. You're also getting a nice little hint of cinnamon there too, which is really prevalent on number 1. Let's go back into this one too. Let's see. That one has a really nice caramel vanilla punch right in the front of the palate. Then it subdues a little bit, but then you get this wave of this really beautiful finish. Really nice proof on it. Definitely leaving a nice long finish, but then that black peppery note, that maybe that little bit of a rye kick. It's also leaving kind of a trail of cherry flavor behind it too, as it keeps going. Really nice balance, a lot of sweetness. That one's really good. What I'm going to do, like I did last time, is try to guess what I think these 4 are, just based on my experience, and see if I nailed and picked out the flavors. Some of these, actually, Knob Creek Small Batch I haven't sipped in a while. And Elijah Craig I actually haven't sipped in a while because I'm always drinking Elijah Craig barrel proof. So I'm interested to see if I could pick this one out. But number 4, if I had to guess, I'm going to say number 4 is Knob Creek. There was something about it. It had definitely a little bit of a nutty character to it, but mostly that citrus flavor that I was getting, I don't know, reminded me a little bit more of a Knob Creek. So I'm going to say number 4 is Knob Creek. Number 3, had that really forward nutty flavor to it, and I think that is indicative of Jim Beam and the Distillers Cut. So I'm saying that number 3 is Distillers Cut. I'm going to say number 2 is Larceny, just because it was the most really the sweetest of all four. It didn't have a super long finish. It's the lowest proof out of all of them, so it wasn't really hitting me on the finish there. It was really sweet. I'm going to say number 2 is Larceny, which leads me to believe that number 1, I think, is Elijah Craig small batch. So, if I had to go for my immediate, definitely number 1. I am moving ahead number 1. That one had the most balance, nice fruitiness, really beautiful finish on it. Caramel, corn, sweetness, some fruitiness, some oak. That one was a really, really well-balanced bourbon. Now, these 3 I had a really hard time with. One was really sweet. One was kind of, really had some good balance. It just wasn't as, I don't think it was as strong as what number 1 brought. And number 4 here for me had the finish, but was missing a little bit of the front palate. And there wasn't enough of that flavor punch on the front. But that one had a really great finish. So I am picking number 1, and I am moving on number 3. All right, guys, so it is time to find out what is in each of these glasses. I have sipped, I have tasted, I have chosen number 1 and number 3 to move on. Number 2 and number 4 have been eliminated. Let's find out what they are and see if my guesses were right and see if I was close at all. So, starting with number 4, let's see what number 4 was. I have my key right here, so let's open it up. All right, here's my key. And first, number 4, which I guessed was Knob Creek, is letter B, which was Elijah Craig Small Batch. Holy crap, really? Elijah Craig Small Batch was my number 2 seed. That's nuts. Wow, Elijah Craig out of the Sweet 16. Man, that's crazy. Elijah Craig. Okay, so Elijah Craig has apparently been eliminated. That was that one, so that was number 4. So number 2 here, I guess to be Larceny. And let's see if I was right about that one. So number 2 is letter D, and letter D was Larceny. I was right on that one. So Larceny came in. Larceny is a delicious bourbon. I love Larceny, one of my top go-tos. But compared to the others, I think being a wheated bourbon, being so sweet, it just didn't offer that really good finish I was looking for. So we are down to Jim Beam Distillers Cut and Knob Creek Small Batch. That's crazy. All right, so let's start with number 3 here, and let's see what we get. Here's my, so I guess number 3 was the Distillers Cut because it had that nutty character that I love from Jim Beam. And on the bottom of here is letter A. And letter A was Jim Beam Distillers Cut, which makes number 1 Knob Creek Small Batch. Knob Creek Small Batch and Jim Beam Distillers Cut. Jim Beam does the sweep. Jim Beam comes in and takes out Elijah Craig and also takes out Larceny. Wow, that was really interesting. So number 3 here, which was letter A, which was the Distillers Cut. I mean, that one brought a really nice proof, really good flavor, that peanut character. That's why I really thought it was Distillers Cut. It had that really nice Jim Beam funk roasted peanut flavor to it. That's what I really thought it was. But I really thought number 1 was the Elijah Craig. That Knob Creek had such a great balance to it. And the Elijah Craig, which is here in number 4, was a little bit thin on the end. And I mean, it had a really great finish. But Knob Creek, man, the Knob Creek came out. I think that 100 proof a little bit helped it. Had much more of a flavor punch on the front. Really nice finish on the end. Man, Jim Beam comes in and does the sweep. This was a really tough bracket. I was really kind of deliberating, even when we took the break, of what the hell am I going to do. I had really picked out Knob Creek Small Batch as my go-to. That one kind of really stood out from the beginning. But these other 3 were really tough. But yeah, Jim Beam Distillers Cut comes out, edges out Larceny and Elijah Craig Small Batch. So it's time for the next bracket. All right, guys, so moving on to the next round. Here's your recap. We have Knob Creek Small Batch. Moving on, along with Jim Beam Distillers Cut, they are going to face Wild Turkey 101 and Four Roses Small Batch to move into the championship round. The next bracket, we have bracket 3. This is going to be Eagle Rare, the 5 seed, going against the 16 seed, the big underdog, 1792 small batch, going against number 13, Old Grandad Bonded, and then the 7 seed Early Times Bottled and Bond. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed bracket 2. This was definitely a tough bracket to choose. If you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button below. Please hit that like button for this video. If you haven't yet, please find me on Instagram, and you can also find me on Twitter. I love talking with you guys. Let me know out of the bracket 3, out of these 4, what you think is going to come out on top on the top 2, what your money is on. And as I always say, it is not about the whiskey, it is the people you share it with. So cheers, and it's on to bracket 3. Cheers.